Space Debris Mitigation by Johan,
Hunter,
Vincent,
and Henry.
So what's the problem? There's too much trash in space. With all this trash in space, we can't have GPS, satellite internet, and way more. We can't travel anywhere else in the solar system, to the moon, Mars, or anywhere. We can't do any research outside of it. We are stuck on Earth.
as this graph shows, this is an ever-growing problem. The number of total pieces of debris greater than 10 centimeters as of 2020 just hit 45,000. In orbit, currently we have 20,000 pieces of debris greater than 10 centimeters. These pose a huge risk to functional satellites.
from the National Academies Press, if and when orbital debris becomes significant, the cost to mitigate and reduce it could be very significant. According to these images by NASA on Whipple shields, which are the shields that are used to protect the outside of satellites and space debris, not space debris, but spaceships, whenever they are hit by even small pieces of space debris, they can be impacted very greatly. This is an image of a 1.2 centimeter steel ball hitting an 18 centimeter thick piece of aluminum going at 6.8 kilometers a second, which even a small piece of debris can have drastic effects.
Hitesh Chauhan and Ramesh Kumar, the Department of Aerospace Studies at the University of Petroleum and Energy Studies in India, say that space debris can be formed in many different ways. So when a satellite comes into contact with a piece of space debris, that just creates more space debris. They made this graph depicting the amount of space debris in low Earth orbit over time. As we advance as a society, that number goes up, but eventually we reach economic Kessler syndrome, which means that satellites physically cannot exist in low Earth orbit without getting hit by a piece of space debris, which means that our progress as a society will be completely halted.
In this model, presented by the European Space Agency, each piece of debris is modeled somewhere on here, whether it's one of the 2 trillion pieces of debris between 0.1 millimeters and 1 millimeter, 1 millimeter and 1 centimeter, 1 centimeter and 10 centimeters, and greater than 10 centimeters. Every one of these objects is represented on this model.
Our team question is what is the most effective way to manage or reduce the amount of space debris in low Earth orbit or LEO?
The solution we decided on was a combination of mitigation through law and ground-based laser systems. The ground-based laser systems are primarily used to slow debris in orbit in order to eventually deorbit this debris. This model, as you can see, was from MIT, and it's modeling how it deorbits this debris.
According to the ESA, they've adopted a new space policy for collision avoidance, where the high-risk pieces of space debris must be removed from low Earth orbit, and the disposal phase, which is the phase in which satellites can be brought back down to Earth, must have at least a 90% success rate, or they will not be reduced back down to Earth.
This graph by NASA shows the total number of pieces of space debris larger than 10 centimeters in orbit. As you can see, it is growing exponentially. This large jump right here is when China tested an anti-satellite missile and blew up one of the US's satellites. This created more than 20,000 pieces of space debris in less than 1 second. This is a massive problem because if we have this, we can reach economic Kessler syndrome even sooner. Fortunately, this is now banned internationally, and you are not allowed to blow up satellites in space. So this shows hope, but we do still need to do more work. More international laws need to be passed.
Nadir Adalov, a professor of economy at Purdue Fort Wayne, with a specialty in space economy and commerce, made this graph. It depicts the amount of objects or space debris in low Earth orbit over time. Our baseline, represented by this orange line, is where we're at now. He represents the 95% compliance rate on any mitigation laws set, launch tax, and active debris removal. Nadir came to one solution, that the best solution to our problem is not just one thing, but rather a combination of multiple different strategies.
This graph, also by NASA, shows the economic effectiveness of different removal methods. Up here at the top is recycling and controlled reentry. As you can see, we need to spend $1.1 billion and over 22 years it can become economically effective. We chose lasers because they're down here. They become economically effective from year zero, and only cost a few $1 million to make. These are by far the most economically effective way that we found to mitigate space debris.
Removal of space debris per kilogram was calculated for around $618,000 in 2021 from Professors Leonard and Williams in Applied Environmental Science. According to this graph, whenever large pieces of space debris are found, they can be brought back down to Earth and reused in future programs. But because of this high cost to actually bring it back down to Earth, this outweighs the positive aspects of recycling.
Professor Adam Mudge of the U.S. Space Force stated that these lasers require highly precise tracking information, and even then are really inexact. So a potential implication of our strategy could be, what if we miss? What if we hit an active satellite? Or even worse, what if we hit an active spacecraft that has people in it? This could represent a horrible implication of our strategy, and could be very dangerous and very expensive to fix.
One of our alternate solutions were ADR vehicles. ADR vehicles are vehicles that go up in space, grab space debris, and bring it back down. These 5 companies from all around the world are working to create functional, very effective ADR vehicles. NASA, Astroscale from the UK, Tokyo Polytech University, JAXA, and the US government are all very skilled people and can create the most effective ADR vehicles. The reason why we didn't choose this though is these are very expensive, costing up to trillions of dollars.
Our other alternate solution was orbital lasers. These orbital lasers may be just as effective, if not more effective, than these ground-based lasers. But the one thing that threw us off is that the National Security Technology Accelerator states that the average cost of a single space launch can cost tens to hundreds of millions of dollars just to launch one thing into space. The ISS, currently marketed as the most expensive man-made object, costs $150 billion to make and probably trillions to send up into space.
Coming back to our solution between law and ground-based lasers, we decided on this because it is a cost-effective, effective, and sustainable solution for our future of space travel.
Citations.
Henry, reflecting on your colleagues' work, what is one that had the greatest impact on your personal overall understanding of the problem that your group identified?
I think that Vince's research really impacted my view on the problem, because with Vince doing the historical lens showing our past and what we've done in the past and the amounts of space debris that are in low Earth orbit, it really just reinforced in my mind that this is a big problem that's growing very, very fast.
Vince, describe an argument from one of your peers' individual reports that made you think differently about your team's solution or conclusion.
Hunters helped me a lot. I was unaware of how expensive these solutions could be, and he researched the economic lens. And so while we were looking at all the solutions, we started looking into the cost effectiveness of all of it, and overall decided on that solution of the ground-based lasers because they were an extremely cost-effective solution.
Okay. Johan, give one example, one specific example that your thinking changed as a result of learning about Henry's research.
So Henry's research was the scientific lens, and he researched pretty much all the ADR vehicles and everything about removing space debris actively. So my idea changed because I was researching law, so I really only knew about pretty much mitigating space debris from getting in space, but his research really gave me the idea that we can actually remove space debris out of space, and as that graph showed earlier, create almost no space debris in space in a timely manner. So it really changed my thinking from only stopping space debris to go up there to actually we can remove it too.
Okay, thanks. And Hunter, Having finished your project, what if anything do you consider to be a gap in your team's research that if addressed would make you feel more confident about your resolution?
I believe a gap in our research would be the actual teamwork that it would take to implement all of these techniques. We would have to get a lot of companies and countries involved and working together to actually have the power and obviously the budget and cost that it would take for all of this. And even then there might be disagreements, and having to keep that in mind, we believe that that would be a gap whenever trying to have this work.
Thank you.